Hello, everyone. I'm Cathleen Trigg-Jones for the iWoman report, where the verdict of Derek Chauvin has just come down. Derek Chauvin, the police officer accused of murdering George Floyd, has been found guilty on all three charges. Found guilty on unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. Right now, we're going to go to Tamika Mallory, the founder of Until Freedom, who's been holed up with the family all day outside, where the family and civil rights leaders and everyone has been standing by on pins and needles waiting for this verdict to come down. Again, Derek Chauvin is found guilty on all three counts in the death of George Floyd. Tamika. We did
Hi.
it.
Hi, Kat.
Hey, we did it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
A lot of people, a lot of hard work. A lot of people been through a whole lot of hell for this day. And this family that's here in this room, I don't know if I could have sat here and watched them deal with or take the blow of not guilty. I don't think they could have handled that. I don't think they could handle um, hung jury, none of that. They just couldn't. They deserved the justice that they received today. And I think also, um, even those people who are racist or ignorant or whatever we like to call them, they needed this too.
Absolutely.
They needed this too. The whole world needed this because we have the right side what's happening in this nation, and I appreciate so much that it took no convincing, no hard work. The jury just said no. No, we saw what we saw.
Tell me the feeling there. Well, first of all, you're there with the family in the back, and you've been with them all day, just waiting on pins and needles for this verdict to come down.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just try to make my camera a little better here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be very respectful of people's
of course.
faces and
I'm your producer. I want to tell
yeah,
you, like, frame it right, Tamika.
yes,
So,
no, yes. And I think I actually need to be. Let me see. I have
yeah, it
to
turns you sideways.
and this and then
There,
this. Yeah.
there, much better. Yes, much better.
Yeah. So
But
yeah.
tell me where you are and what the mood is right
Yeah,
now.
I've been with the family today. But actually, we've been together for the last several days. Until Freedom co-chairs, excuse me, the Until Freedom co-founders, my son, Angelo, Linda, myself, and the families and members. And we've been, sort of just having dinner and talking through the different scenarios and being with them, while they were in the holding room yesterday as the closing remarks were finishing up. Also, other civil rights leaders, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, and a number of others have been together waiting for the verdict to come down. And okay, good. I'm going to continue. There was, I think last night we all just decided to walk in peace. Like we just decided that last night it was just too much to bear to consider the worst. So we just made a little pact that we were going to believe that things were going to go the right way today. And it did. And I think unfortunately, Kat, George Floyd died in the most horrific way possible. Like there's just probably nothing else that I can think of, especially as someone who suffers with claustrophobia myself.
Right.
Knowing that he went through claustrophobic scare and also being slammed, pushed into the pavement and just everything that happened to him. It was very horrific. It went on for probably the last 15 to 20 minutes of his life was the most horrific ending ever. And it's a shame that America has to see us die in that way, so graphic. To be able to come back and say that justice has to be done, because we know if there had been any little, no video, or if there had been anything that wasn't 100% clear, while it may have been clear to us, it may not have been clear enough to a jury. And so I am today, obviously elated, but still hurting because what we saw happen here is really painful. in order for us to get a guilty verdict. I just saw on someone else's cell phone, actually Brandon, George Floyd's nephew, was on the phone just now with Tamika Palmer, the mother of Breonna Taylor. And Tamika was literally in shambles. She was crying more than I've seen her cry. And I've seen her be, really have some emotional moments. But I think knowing that it took it, I'm sitting here talking about you. I'm actually in the process.
Is that Brandon?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Hi, Brandon.
Brandon.
Hi.
Everyone, this is Brandon. Brandon is the nephew of George Floyd, and he's been representing this family very, very well. He's
Hi,
doing
Brandon.
a great job, sir.
Oh, man.
Y'all family. I'm feeling good. And I was optimistic at first. And oftentimes in these situations, they kill us unarmed, and we never get justice. We never see the law actually uphold against other police officers. They tend to feel like they're above the law until they change. I think this was a pivotal moment in history.
Absolutely.
I got a close friend of mine, Kenny Walker, here. I needed him here with me because we feel for the Breonna Taylor family. We know that wasn't right, and hopefully they take notes and they go back and look into it and get it right.
And get it right. Thank you,
Brandon, I have a question.
Brandon, one question.
Yeah, so we got a verdict. We got 3 guilties. But how does this, as someone who's so close to this, and also just as a Black man in America, how does this make you feel? Does it restore any kind of faith for you right now?
It restores hope in this broken criminal justice system for me. When I look at Kenny and I see his hurt, when I look at Dante Wright's family who's staying in the same hotel as us and I feel their pain, we can't get our loved ones back. But what we can do is prevent this from happening over and over and over again like it is. And it's bigger than, my uncle is bigger than us. We're still Black men and women in America getting killed at a high rate. And more than anything, I think today is a turning point, and hopefully this builds momentum and it continues.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you.
So it's just a powerful moment, I think that unfortunately, like they said, they'll never be able to get George Floyd back. But if this situation could bring justice for another, it would not be in vain. It would be for a reason. And as I was saying, as I was mentioning, Tamika Palmer was on the FaceTime talking to Brandon, and she was crying. And I know that she understands that without George Floyd being murdered, her daughter's name would not have been the international name that it is now. It took George Floyd dying to give us a platform to bring Breonna Taylor to the forefront, because she had been dead for 2.5 months and people weren't even paying attention. But it was when George Floyd died that we made a quick decision at Until Freedom that we needed to put her family on the map, and I actually had a physical conversation with members of George Floyd's family asking if it was okay, and we all agreed, let's all do this together. So it's a very tiresome fight. We're actually going to outside to the streets now to be among the people. So I will have to talk with you a little bit later, Kat.
Let me ask you one question before you go, Tamika. Yeah, before you go, I want to ask you, as women, like in my office just now, when the verdict came down, we were crying. It brought out so much pent up emotion. As a mother yourself of a Black boy, we have this in common. We worry so much about our sons. This is personal to you, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, as a mother, it definitely is a feeling that I can't explain. I worry, and I still probably will be worried even after this, but I certainly have a feeling of calm today that I haven't felt in a really, really long time. So I think that's one, but I also think that it gives us the fuel to keep fighting as mothers, you know.
Right.
I saw someone say that they were looking for the wailing mothers, wailing on the wall, as in the scripture, in the Bible, it talks about the women who basically cry in order to bring about justice and healing. And that's how I feel today. Like, we cried, we prayed, we did so much to bring about this moment. And I'm just so grateful that I'm not standing in another room with family members who have been told that they will not get justice for their loved one.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't have been able to handle it today. I'm telling you, and I don't believe, I gotta actually run, but I will say this. I do not believe that America would be the same. And when I say that, I mean, I believe that there would have been a situation that could not be contained by pastors and positive words of peace. And I don't believe that it would have been contained, because the anxiousness of the waiting and the sitting with this and watching those images over and over again had caused a trauma that was so deep within our communities that I don't believe that this situation would have gone right. I think America would have been in big trouble. So it was in all of our best interests that the right
Well,
thing
let me
happened.
say this to you, though, Tamika. You still have to watch your back, and we'll all have to continue, because as relieved as we are, you must know
There's
not
backlash.
everyone in America is feeling relieved today.
Yeah, absolutely. There's
Sadly.
always a backlash, but we'll take it.
Absolutely.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Let's just
Yeah.
keep on getting these positive outcomes. Now, unfortunately, in 2 days, we go on to lay Dante Wright to rest. And so the fight continues. The struggle
Absolutely.
continues.
Okay, thank you, Tamika. And you're going to hear more on the iWoman report later this week. But once again, I just want to say that Derek Chauvin has been found guilty on all 3 charges in the murder of George Floyd, which sparked widespread protesting and really kicked off the entire Black Lives Matter movement during the pandemic that we've been living with throughout this last year. So Derek Chauvin found guilty, all 3 counts of murder, second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. Stand by. We'll have more on the iWoman report.